anything for the lighthouse. Lord, I owe my life to Him. You see, Jesus is the lighthouse. And from the rock to sin, and shone His light of love around me. And I clearly see that if it wasn't for the lighthouse, tell me where would my be?
Precious God, bless your word. Let the atmosphere speak to our hearts and our minds. I guess sometimes the older you get, sometimes the wiser you become, other times the foolish. But hopefully, as the Lord grace you to see age, hopefully we pray that you grow in grace.
Amen.
And this is why the scriptures teach you to follow them that follow the Lord, especially those that are elders indeed. Not only in deed, but in age, but in a good age, whose life follows the gospel. There are a lot of ways you can learn sometimes being a newcomer when you come into a congregation. When I first entered into the realm of holiness, the world of holiness, this was years ago, I first came in by way of Tajik, when they were still somewhat upholding the old standards of holiness, or the biblical standards. And as a young man coming out of the clubs, from traditional churches, I looked at the young people, and I saw how the young women dresses were getting shorter and shorter. They were sticking on makeup and little jewelries. I didn't know much, and I saw how the young men were becoming caddish in their way, and I said, well, I understand. Trying to be cool in the church. And how sometimes during practice, the young musicians would break out into secular songs since the church was empty. And they would get to playing and laughing. And I was fresh out the club, so I'm in the church and you playing as a brick house, you understand? And you laughing at it, but this was my livelihood a few months ago. But I said to myself, I'm going to keep my eyes on the elders. I'm going to watch the older women and men that live right. I think I'm going to follow their example, because some of these young folks, they seem a little bit too out there, and I'm a young comer. I said that when I get older, I will be, not trying to be, but I will be stronger than my peers. While the young people may continue to go astray, I'll be stable because I'll follow the landmark of the elders that live right. And sure enough, many of them young folks went back to that world. Some of them were born in the church. But by His grace, I'm still in the race.
Yes, Lord.
A lot of things I didn't understand, but I followed them that appeared to be right. I dress like they dress. Sometimes you might not understand, but you look at those that you know are faithful, women, and you imitate them. Young men, you imitate them. And if they're really righteous and if you're sitting in truth, you're going to find out that you're doing the right thing. Amen. So you can learn just by observing. And you get an understanding as it goes. But you have to understand that God tries our hearts by the things that we deal with every day. Because these are things that pull our hearts. And He tries us with these things. We've been teaching a lot on it in Deuteronomy, how that God allowed them to be tried and tempted with the trials and tribulations that they went through, so that they may be proven and their hearts may be manifested. But I feel an open virtue, and I'm pretty straight to the point with all due respect. And I got news for you. You understand what I'm saying? I got nothing to do with this world. I could care less if it never played a game, never watched a movie, never did a dance, never went to Six Flags or anything. It doesn't even bother me. Because I'm learning, the older I get, what's most important that I enter into the kingdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're good and saved, even though you might not understand things, you'll be willing to almost do anything. When I entered into the United Pentecostal Church years ago, they didn't watch television at all. I never heard of that before. My pastor came into the house and saw our television. I think we might have been a week or two, we baptized, maybe a month. And though he wasn't the most gracious man, he looked at me and said, "We don't watch TV." I said, "Oh, we don't?" He said, "No, sir." I guess he was trying my spirit, amen? And I grew up on television, you know. 4 o'clock in the morning, some of y'all don't remember, television used to go on.
That's right.
And that circle used to come on. Then I'd get up and go to school. For a while, you sit there watching the and that's when it was free. Right? Did you imagine? Free? Lord help us. Now look at it. Cost more than a house note. You see, now they make it look like a big thing. You can order these antennas and see your local station free. Man, it was always free. That's not nothing new. They're reversing it, huh? Well, and he said, "We don't watch TV." So for 13 years, I put away television. I just put it away. I felt that's what God wanted me to be. Said no evil thing before your face. Okay, no problem. Put it away. I never forget, I think it was my 8th child who was at my mother's house. And she saw TV for the first time, and she started jumping and flipping all over the floor. And she said, I think it might have been Octavia, she would just turn and flip. She was about 4 or 5, I don't know. Anyway, she said, "Oh, look at those little people on that box." And my mama said, "She ain't never seen a TV before." I said, "No, ma'am." Of course, she said her favorite word. Later on, when we come down here, this and that, me and Mom sometimes, we used to just take a night out and go to the hotel, get away, just me and her. And one day I decided, let me turn the TV on and see what's on. I ain't turned it on in 13 years. I flipped it on. They had some movie about a southern town that every so many years, all the dead people come back to life. And they change the signs around to get northerners to come in, and then they cut them up and they barbecue them. Now, back in my day when we watched TV, every time something dramatic was about to happen, some of y'all never remember what happened. It went off. You never saw it. And so, they got this one lady that took her in the room and she was screaming. And they put the chainsaw on. I said, "Mama, look at this. Like they really gonna cut her." I'm waiting on the commercial. The thing got closer. I said, "They really getting good with this." Like they really gonna cut her. They started cutting her. Blood started coming out of everywhere. Now, I know it was a movie, but she was screaming. My eyes, no, I ain't watched TV in 13 years. My eyes got big. I fell to the floor and looked outside. I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Lord, did the rapture come and we got left?" You see, I never heard of cable. I never heard of cable. But nevertheless, then the Lord gave wisdom to a lot of people. It's not the box that was sinful, but it's what you allow to be put on it. And I think the organization came up with that same understanding, even though their ministers are still not allowed, but church members can, as long as they, if I'm correct, program their own things, you understand? Monitors or what have you. However, it is not the box that was the sin, it's what you allow to come on it. It's in your control. You understand? Amen. But it doesn't hurt not to have one. But God hates an uneven what? Balance. So now if you teach against the television, because even though you are in control of it, then you're going to have to put down your smartphone and your computers, because they're worse than the television.
That's right.
At least with the TV, you know, unless you stay up late at night, you might see a few bad stuff. The rest you got to pay for. But that doggone computer, I don't take you around the world, in the world, under the world, through the world, and a couple other worlds free. And it's very addictive. Many children and many people have been hurt and snatched. Many families have been destroyed because of the liberty that you can have freely at your disposal. So you understand what God hates an even balance? So when you're preaching in one direction, you got to be sure that you're balanced. You see? And some of the people say, well, I don't watch the news on TV, I watch it on the computer. But what good is that? Because you can watch whatever you want to on that computer. Free. No matter how dirty, how ugly, how nasty, even murders. However, I said that to say this. I have found out that when you are brought up in holiness, which means righteous living, and when you abide by the teachings and standards of the scriptures, that it's a safeguard. It's a safeguard. And we have to start taking our doctrine, every phase of it, every dotting of the I, every crossing of the T serious. Because if your instructions have been given you by way of the Holy Ghost, then there's a reason for everything. For instance, we don't teach boyfriend and girlfriend because the scriptures don't teach it. We don't teach dating, going out on different dates, this and that, because the scriptures don't teach it. But we do teach engagement. But we teach engagement at the age of 16. Of course, with your parents' consent, we allow you to be engaged. However, in the engagement, there is no intimate exchange, no matter how old you are. No kissing, no hugging, no holding of hands, no gift exchanging. We teach that the main purpose of the engagement is to get to know the character of the individual. You may talk via telephone within reason. You may go on chaperone dinners, meaning dinners with qualified married couples or qualified church people. And we even say ride in separate cars, unless you're in the car with other people. Why is that? Because you're engaged. And the engagement is binding. But it's not permanent until you can see how compatible you are. But if you're not compatible, then there is no harm done. There's been no kissing. There's been no sex. There's been no waste of money. But you just better became acquainted with a saint in Christ. And you can step back as friends. Now, we do that by permission, because when you engage in the scriptures, you ought to marry unless something is wrong. However, in the scriptures, they did not have chaperone dinners. But as Paul made certain rules because of a certain situation, we allow that because of a certain situation, the time we live in when the family is no more. And half the time, you don't know who you're marrying or what you're marrying. Now, the government in certain places no longer ask you to get blood tests, but I would suggest get a blood test and even look at the birth certificate to make sure you're marrying a woman and you're marrying a man. This is the world that we live in now. When your auntie could have been your uncle at birth. And Mrs. Susie, your first grade teacher, is really Sandy. masculine. And if it doesn't work, you're not upset because you put a whole lot of money, because gifts are blinding. That's why we say no gifts. Gifts are blinding. And coming up throughout the churches, I've seen people, even young ministers. I never forget one young minister was trying to marry this woman, bought the furniture, everything. And a week before the marriage, walked down the aisle with somebody else saying God told him that's who he should marry. What a devastating blow. And then when you become physically involved, you understand the true union of a marriage is that sexual act, you understand?
That's right.
But when you become physically involved, that emotion can also blind you and cause you to overlook the red flags. And so we keep it separate. Now, this is not like in a religion that tell you when to go to bed, when you do. Now, I'm not talking about married folk. I'm talking about people that are anticipating on being married. Then if you see that you're not compatible, a brother or sister can marry somebody else in the church and there's no embarrassment. You see, you ain't been jumping and falling in bed one person to the next. There's no embarrassment. You see what I'm saying? Years ago, there was a middle-aged couple, and the woman was pretty faithful. The young man was new to the church, and he turned to be pretty faithful, and they got engaged. And one day, the young man wanted, he was in his 50s or something like that. He figured, we old, let's hang out together. She says, no, we don't want to do that. And then he said, because Lust ain't got no age, right? Mm-hmm. When Samson saw the woman he wanted to marry, he was around 40-something. He went back, told his dad, go talk to the father. Anybody hear me?
Right.
Abraham looked at his son and said, my son needs a wife. So he sent his servant, who'd been with him from a child up, who was wise, and said, go find a wife for my husband. And Isaac was 40 years old. Or because you wrong don't mean you can't do wrong. Lust don't have an age. Yeah, you're going to hell if you fornicate at 13, you're going to hell if you fornicate at 55. Let not fornication be once named amongst the church. So I don't care how old you are. Chaperone dinners. Anybody hearing me? Listen. Because the Bible said it is good that you don't even touch a woman. You got no business just hanging around women or men unless there's a reason. Why? To avoid fornication. Do we have to explain that? And he said, well, listen, since we get married, we can do something. She says, no. Of course, he gets mad, and there's no more engagement. Years later, he dies. And he died from AIDS. The doctor saved her life. Because right before he got saved, he encountered a prostitute, not knowing she had AIDS. And for almost 10 years, it began to take effect in his life. The doctrine of holiness can save you. It can keep you. But we have to stop compromising. Stop playing games and take it serious. In Deuteronomy 22, it says this. Well, just read it quickly, brother. Let's read real quick. Right? Just read real quick. We're going to verse 8, but read real quick.
Starting from verse 1?
Yeah, just read quickly.
Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee, until thy brother seek after it.
If you see something that belongs to your brother, go tell your brother, and listen, here's your ox, here's your sheep, this is yours. And if the man or the saint is not there, keep it until you see them. In other words, if church is over with and somebody leaves something behind in a congregation, if you can get it, go get it and bring them to them. But if you know who it is and they're not there, they're no longer there, you keep it until you see them. but you take responsibility of their possessions as though it were yours.
Amen.
You don't walk by and say, it's not mine. You see? Read.
And thou shalt restore it to him again. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers, which he hath lost. And thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself.
Don't hide yourself. You see something that's lost that belongs to somebody else, and you think you know who it is, get it. Don't hide yourself. You see? Don't act like because it's not yours, you're not responsible. But be responsible and show yourself trustworthy, even in the absence of the things that belong to others. Amen? Read.
Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again.
You should not be on your way to the store or to the park or to the church, and you see your brother or sister break down on the highway. And
Come on now. Come on.
Surely you should turn around and try to help, or call somebody you know that can help. Oh, I feel a small virtue. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see your brother or sister struggling in trouble and you keep on going. You turn around and help them. Don't hide yourself. Well, I don't really want to be bothered. Be bothered. Read.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Women dress like women and men dress like men. If you dress, if you put on women's clothes or women put on masculine clothes, it is abomination. God hates it. It is idolatry. Read.
If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, or the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days.
Even be kind to nature. Be kind to the animals. You see mother or whatever nursing the bird, this and that. Of course, you know, in other words, if you're get it for food, don't take the mother and the young egg or whatever. Just take the youth, let the mother go. Read.
When thou buildest a new house,
This is my point.
then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence.
How safe is your house? When you build a new house, and many times they use the roof as balconies in the city, put a battlement, put a wall, a small wall, like a balcony around the house, so that when your neighbors come up, they won't fall over and hurt themselves. And the blood of your neighbor is on your hands because they got bruised in your house. The soul of your neighbor is in your hands because their souls got bruised from your house. Your soul. How safe is your house? If someone sends their children over to your home, they're going to come back saved or contaminated. Anybody hear what I'm saying? If you have fellowship in your house, where where they receive the Spirit of Christ, or where they notice something else. We are responsible for each other's family, that we cause not stumbling blocks. The church teaches holiness inside out, but then you let your family members do just the opposite. And then they go around other family members and children and young folks and young comers that are striving to do right, and especially those of us that are elders and supposed to be examples, and then the others see your house out of order, and then others wonder why their children are acting funny. Like they don't want to do right or want to be rebellious, and when they talk to them or when they think what's going on, it's because the seed from your house contaminated your neighbor's house. Because they don't understand how is it that Brother Bryant is supposed to be an elder, Brother Bryant plays the piano, Brother Bryant sings, and Brother Bryant does that. But I saw Brother Brian and his kids wearing all kind of jewelry and doing all this and this and this and that. And now they wondering and then I'm back in church singing.
Come on.
Now your family is confused because of my house. Holiness is real, people.
Amen.
And God is a particular God. Don't you think he's not?
Amen.
When he said on the Sabbath day don't work, he meant it. But the man picked up sticks anyway, didn't he?
That's right.
You think it was the sticks why God destroyed him? No, it was the principle. God was trying the heart. When we compromise, we destroy our children and we teach them that you don't have to abide by the word of God. And understand me. You might say, well, I don't think it take all that. You don't think the church standards that are presented by a holy man in the name of Christ, rightly dividing the scriptures, carry weight? And so you don't think that it's important to look like you're saved, to walk like you're saved, and you hear coming across the preached word, and you let your children conform themselves to the way of the world. Don't you know what you just brought into your home? An accursed thing. And when they get older, and you try to tell them what's right, they're going to look at you because you have taught them all your life, just like church. I hear what you're saying, but I don't have to abide by it.
Come on. Come on.
And then you bring confusion upon the minds of your children.
My Lord.
Where's the battlement around your house? Where's the protection around your house that can protect the next family? You don't want your home to destroy other families. Understand what I'm saying? And I'll just be open with you. I never preach for doctrine of standards, personal convictions. I hold my personal convictions to my family only. But you'll never hear it. But the standards that we do teach, I'll make it my best to have scripture foundation so that when you go against it, you show it's sin. And I do understand that the teachings is for your edification. All things are lawful. All things are lawful. All things we are able to do. There's no law against us, but all things are not wise. All things are not expedient. Don't build you up. So you have to learn to choose Christ. How safe is your house? And maybe the kids want to go over your house, and when they go over your house, they can do a little bit of everything they can't do at home. No, if you're living in holiness, there may be some things different, but for the most part, coming out of your holy house should be the same as going into the next man's holy house. The reason why women don't wear pants outwardly, number one, is because God never gave it to you.
Amen.
He gave the woman robe-like garments. When the Bible says, let the woman dress to modest apparel, the word actually means dress. However, I try to be balanced in teachings. In Deuteronomy, when it talks about a woman not wearing anything pertaining to a man, that means something in particular. You cannot wear something that belongs specifically to a man. It never condemned clothes being similar. But, so we teach that if a woman decides to wear pants at all, she must only wear them garments that are pertaining to a woman. No fly button-up zipper in the front, pull-ups, and as an undergarment. Not as a main dress, because then you're naked. You're not covered properly. Why is that? Because that's by permission. Because if you had went to a clothes store back in the day when God created Adam and Eve, don't understand what I'm saying. The only thing you would have saw was robes. Robes for men and robes for women.
That's right.
Except they would have been made different. So God is not upset with clothes looking alike that they cannot belong to. But however, he gave the priest breeches to wear underneath their garments. He never gave any other thing to a woman except to dress like garment. But however, man creates things, and women begin to duplicate, not wear men's pants, but to duplicate. Like as you see in foreign countries, you can't see what they got on. They got those robes, but they have the pull-ups underneath them. But you wouldn't know it. And so I'd be fair across the board, rightfully divided. But if you never wore a pair at all, it doesn't matter because God never gave it to you. So when you just run into the store, run into the house, and you got your butt all out with the breeches on, you ain't sinning against me, you're sinning against God. Because that's not the way he dressed you. And don't tell me, oh, that's old time. You can steal all over the world. See people dressed the exact same way as Adam and Eve. We even have clothing, some of them. And think about it. Think about it. God said, I'll make bare your ankles in a judgment. That means he will make their ankles bare, which means their ankles will cover. Now you think about it. A lot of people get upset and they argue about why we got to wear our dresses down, this and this and that. Listen. That's not only holiness, but that's the way of the world too. For instance, almost every pair of pants you see all over the world goes down to the what? Why do you think?
Come on.
Amen.
The West is only duplicating what the East wear, but in a Western style. The East wear the robe down with their pull up underneath, and the West, instead of having the long outer robe, they had the suit coat. With the inner robe, the vest. And the suit coat mainly came beneath the privacy side. And the pants went all the way down to the ankle. That's just a standard style of dress. But God said if you want to look like a man and you're a woman, you're going to be damned. He hates it. Why? Because he made us male and female. He created us to be different. And so I know a lot of preachers, I'm fair in my teaching. I do my research in history. And there was such a thing as trousers made for women, but they were always worn under the garment. And they still do, but you never know they got it on. So for some reason, you may have some pull-ups or something under your dress, amen, but your dress comes down to your knee, and it's just noticeable that you're wearing slacks. You ain't covering up correctly. Because God didn't give it to you. He could care less if you never put on a pair, anywhere, underneath, whatever, because God didn't give it to you. And God is the creator of clothes. And he clothed us the way we ought to be dressed. But he did give to man trousers, another style of dress. But the clothing that God gave was not to show your body. You see what I'm saying? All this skinny stuff was showing the butt and the privacy and all that. This is not God's way. God is a Holy Spirit, so he gave us holy garments. And the purpose of it was not to show our nakedness, but to cover our nakedness. No, we don't wear jewelry because the scripture teaches that it is idolatry. Show me that. What is so hard about let it not be? After the golden calf, God said, remove the ornaments, men and women.
That's what he said.
The scriptures make it plain. It connects it to idolatry. And Jacob told his wife, get rid of your strange gods and change your clothes. So they got rid of the gods and the earrings that were in their ears because it was all connected.
That's right.
The Bible describes two spiritual entities in the Revelations. The one represented Israel and the people of God and was clothed with the sun, the moon, and the stars and white, and that was it. The other represented the idolatrous system of Rome, and they called her the mother of harlot, dressed in the fine colors and the jewels and the gold and the pearls and the costly array. Are you serious? You've never seen a holy angel draped in gold or silver. Not a holy angel as such. The only one that was decked like that was Lucifer, and he was cast out. It's no surprise that in almost every scripture relating to idolatry, the silver and gold is mentioned.
That's right.
Because he's the God of this world. So I'm not even going to get into that. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is this, is when you hear teaching, and then you teach your children and your wives, brethren, and you allow your house to go contrary, you're damning your own home. Because a little leaven does what? And most of the time when people say, it don't take all that, I don't see it that way, all kind of hell breaks out in the life of your people because you got an open door there now. Because listen, who cares what I give up in this world? Who cares? Look, Colossians, I'm closing chapter 3. Get it, preacher.
Amen.
Verse 1. Listen. Is anybody's family safe in your house? Or in your home you got blood, the blood of saints, the blood of sinners. Because instead of having praise upon your walls, you got hypocrisy from door to door. And then, brother, your family has to come and hear the preacher preaching and the kids looking crazy. Why is it crazy? Because I'm addressing the men, but I'm talking to all of them. If you ain't got no husband, your kids looking crazy. And we didn't go home and lie. I said, y'all overlook that. You overlook it if you want to. When they rebel against you, they're going to look at you and say, Dad, Mom, overlook it. You're teaching them. You're teaching them how to play with God. You're teaching them how to respect the world over God. You're teaching them to reverence the foolishness of this world, but give no reverence to God. At least you can tell them, well, I don't quite see it that way, but it's the other world, it ain't going to hurt us. We'll call it a spiritual discipline, and we will abide because it's not going to hurt us. But instead, you put away all the scripture that's been given. You put away the principle of respecting God for the world or your personal opinion. And you know in your heart you ain't right. Anyway, the Holy Ghost is up on me. Anytime you, listen to me, anytime you compromise with the teaching of the church, you got other sinful activities going on somewhere. Oh, you heard what the old folks used to say, if you lie, you're what? You're stealing. You hear what I'm saying? If you sneak jewelry on, you'll get a tattoo. If you get a tattoo, you go out and dress ungodly. If you go out and dress ungodly, you'll start getting high. Because a little leaven does what? If you start getting high, you'll fornicate. You understand what I'm saying? You're just not going to do one sin and stop. Hear what I'm saying? You don't want to pray with the Holy Ghost. A man and woman drop dead over offering. For you to say it's my money. You think so? It's in your hands. But you got to answer for how you spend it. I feel the Holy Ghost. Listen, I'm not going to play with you. Because it is important that we walk humble before God. Listen to this. Colossians chapter 3. Read it.
If ye then be risen with Christ,
If you're risen with Christ,
seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God.
now the first thing is, if you've been risen with Christ, if you're truly born again, if you have accepted Jesus Christ, then you want to seek those things that are above. That should be your main priority. Seeking those things that are above. But too many people who claim to be born again, your main affections are the things of this world, and you get mad when somebody tries to take it from you. You get mad when they say you can't go here, you can't do that, but you don't get mad when you don't pray or fast. You don't get upset because you didn't read your word. You're like the people on the island of Gethsemane when the man was possessed with demons and Jesus cast the demons into the pigs. They got mad because the pigs got drowned. Some of you are mad because the preacher preaching on your pigs. And you're overlooking the fact that a man just got delivered. But they were pig farmers. Jesus messed with their money. He messed with their heart. Everything is fine until God starts messing with your personal life. When he starts messing with the way you think things ought to be, then you want the pig. Why you mad? Preacher done preached away my pigs. Well, now Jesus put a demon in your pig. That shows you what the pigs are worth, huh? I'm trying to show you God don't play. He's the same as he what? He's the same yesterday, today, and what? Just like the man was stoned for picking up sticks and the knives of fire dropped dead because they lied on the offering. Does it look like he changed? Read.
Set your affection
Set your affections
on things above,
on things above.
not on things on the earth.
Is that plain?
Amen.
So why is it that you all are more in love, church people are more in love with earthly things than they are holy things? Now, we use the word but don't abuse it, but my main job is to teach you where your desires should be. And your desires and affections should be on things above. Now, what you do outside of that is up to you. However, blessed is the man that does not destroy himself in the things that he wants.
Allow.
As you use the world, don't what? So that anything that is any activity, game or whatever, any activity, recreation that is contrary to the scriptures, you shouldn't do. Because your main thing is to set your affection. That word affection means set your mind, set your desires, and it also means to entertain yourself with. Your number one entertainment should be things that feed your spirit. Y'all are hearing me?
Amen.
I was reading different articles here. Let me show you something. That's why you should never follow the world. They say this Panther movie is the biggest thing, whatever. You hear what I'm saying? And they say a lot of Christians went to it, and they also said this. They also said that a lot of their stars were Christians, and they were all confessing their spiritual faith while they were on the set. One of the movies that walked, it was a black cast, but black folk didn't do it. Walt Disney did it, you know that. And the black man who conducted it went to South Africa to get the different things that you saw and the culture. But now I thought about it. I looked at it and to discern it. I didn't go. I didn't sin to look at it. I didn't go into an unclean house. Yeah, that's why we don't go to movie theaters, because of what it represents. Ain't nothing Christ in that. Hollywood will tell you, Hollywood hates Christianity. And that's the main purpose of a movie theater, is to feed you all the wisdom of the world. Why would I take my Holy Ghost there to be entertained by a secular world that's against God? The earthly, the wisdom of this world is earthly. That's the PG stuff. And then the sensualist, that's the rated, restricted, and R-rated. And then there's the devilish. That's your demonic movies and all that they constantly feed. You can control it at your house, but you go and eat whatever they give you. And all this is the wisdom of the world. That's why we don't know. That's why it's an unclean house. It's like the house of Dagon. When they took the Ark of the Covenant, they put the Ark of the Covenant in the house of who? Anybody know the scriptures? In the house of Dagon. Dagon was a Philistine demon. But when they came back, he had the body of a man, the fish of a head. When they came back, what was the demon? What was the statue at? On the ground. They picked it back up. And when they came back again, then what was the statue? Head cut off, hand broken off, and they became afraid because they realized that the ark of God was representing the children of Israel. A man not going to have no other God before him. You see, he's not going to have no other God before him. And believe me, they call these actors idols and gods. And he's not going to have no other God before him. And so you know what they did? Let me tell you what the world did. You know what they did? They sent the Ark of the Covenant away, and they closed it up and never went into it again. Why in the world would I take my Holy Ghost into an ungodly place, and yet those people will never step foot where I go? I'm more saved than y'all think I am. I'm just talking in general. I ain't talking about nothing. But I'm just trying to show you something, because watch this. And I sat there and I looked at it. I said, oh my God. I looked at it from a what point of view? Religious. And when I read the article, when they said a whole bunch of Christians all went to see this thing. And the children, y'all seen it? On school jumping it. Everybody was happy. I said, Walt Disney slick. The whole world, watch this, went to see a movie that had real spiritual intents in it. There was real spiritual realities there. They went to see a man, Christian folk, possessed with a demon. The world boosted up, and everybody did what? Followed. Let me break it down to you if you haven't seen it. In the beginning, it talks about a meteorite that hit the ground. and tried for fighting. But then the goddess Panther, the panther goddess, came forth and gave the spirit. Now, what's a goddess in religiously thinking? Huh? Yeah, but according to the scriptures, what's a goddess? A demon. The panther goddess gave to the chief the spirit of the panther. That man was just what? Possessed. And he changed his form. In Africa, they still believe in shape-shifting. And there is a real religion of the panther. That wasn't make-believe. And then, when the panther was in a coma, some of y'all remember that, and they covered him up, and they prayed for him, they prayed to who? Their ancestors. Are you serious? What do you expect coming out of an unclean house? And when I read that, a whole bunch of Christians went to see that, I said, oh my goodness. And you know what they said? That it not necessarily, but it kind of like represented Christianity, because Walt Disney always not trying to always put out movies like God, likening Thor to Samson and things like that. Are you serious? Be careful what you do when you follow the world. Now, how many Christian folk that went in there and took their kids there to see a demon-possessed man?
Come on.
Are you serious? Everybody looking at me crazy. I don't care if y'all snuck and saw it. Shame on you.
Come on, praise it.
If some of y'all done went, shame on you. In an unclean house, you could have got it bootleg. And discerned it and said, oh Lord. Instead of following, you think you're going to have to answer that? How you going to answer to the Holy Ghost? Yeah. Look at y'all looking at me crazy. Some of y'all looking at me crazy, I'm so crazy. Those of y'all that might have snuck out, I ain't saying you did, but if you might have snuck out, you look at me crazy. How you going to spank the Holy Ghost? Lord, we took our kids to see a demon. No, we don't do that. And then when y'all get back here, you got to hear me preaching. Everybody looking around. Be glad when he get through. So then they get mad walking out the door. Go home with your house broken into. Uh-oh. Lord. I'm just saying. Come out from among them and be ye separate, said the Lord. And touch not the what? Church folks steady going to these places, these things, and the statistics say that the world is pulling out. They say in about 15 years it ain't going to be no more theaters. Because folks try to get shot up and blown up. And why you got to be with the world? All you got to do is wait till they come out and pay for it, or you know, get it like they get it. Huh? Get the stick, get the box, wait till they come out and pay for it. To discern, when you're watching the world, anything out there, be careful even what you bring in your house. You watch television analytically. You don't sit there discerning, and if it's not good, then you leave it alone. Amen. And then you should watch things before you put it in front of your children's face. Amen. Because there's a subliminal seduction. Yes. All them folk went wearing dashikis and being African. It's a black movie. It ain't had nothing to do with black Americans. Amen. Dressing like Africans, they don't even receive us as black. Everybody going around there wearing dashikis, and yeah, you were getting it all right. You was getting all the juju of Africa. That's black magic. Now, I've been to South Africa. I know these things. You see? And I'm in West Africa. When lightning strikes real hard in West Africa, boom! They say, I know somebody's dead now. Because they believe that They believe when lightning strikes like that, somebody can channel the lightning into your house and kill you. When they talk about soldiers and warlords that are powerful, they say about some of the powerful warlords, Taylor and the other men they were fighting, that you can't catch him because when you try to catch him, he turns into some creature and runs up the wall. They believe in shape-shifting. That's juju. And the world boots it up, and blind Christians follow through with it and present to the families a panther demon, because that's how God looks at it. If you be risen with Christ, set your desires and affections on things above and not on the earth. Keep reading, brother.
For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in God.
I ain't dead, you got that right. But you should be dead to this world. And your life is hid in Christ. Who cares what this world has to offer? If it's against God, I don't want it, because when I got born again, I died with Christ. My life is not here yet, but when it comes back, it's going to be all right. Because I can be free to live. Read.
When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory.
When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then will we appear with him in glory. Then we can live free, because we're going to live like him and rejoice and be blessed of God. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear. Well, he hasn't appeared yet, right? So where is our life? It's not here yet. This world is not meant for us, because it's going to perish. God's not going to have you, amen, put all your stakes in a world that's going to perish. But our life is hidden in Christ. Therefore, because our life is hidden in Christ, let's read quickly, brother. Read, verse 5. Mortify. Therefore, your members. Control yourself.
Which are upon the earth.
Control yourself while you're here, waiting on Jesus to come back. Come on. Fornication. Uncleanness.
Inordinate affection. Evil concupiscence.
Read.
And covetousness.
Read.
Which is idolatry.
All of this is idolatry.
For which
evil affection and evil passion. For which things say what?
The wrath of God.
The wrath of God.
Come upon the children of disobedience.
Come upon the children of disobedience. Mortify the deeds of your body. Turn away from the lust thereof, because the wrath of God is coming upon those that do such things. In the which you also walk sometimes when you lived in them. Didn't he say that? Somebody said, what do you mean? Used to. I still walk in it. You surely do. He said what? But now. Go ahead, preacher. What happened?
You also put off all these.
Put off what, preacher?
Anger.
Get rid of your anger.
Wrath.
Get rid of your wrath.
Malice.
Get rid of your food.
Blasphemy.
Get rid of your blasphemy.
Filthy communication out of your mouth.
Get rid of all this stuff. Get rid of all this stuff. Get rid of, you put all this stuff off. But somebody said, oops. I was supposed to put that stuff down. You sure were. Read.
Lie not one to another.
Go ahead.
See that ye have put off the old man with his deeds.
And go ahead and finish it.
And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
Read.
Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision or uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all.
Have a love for holiness, people. This world. And listen, have I ever done anything contrary to holiness? Yes. Did I pay for it? Yes. Have I ever allowed ungodly things or worldly things to enter into my home and my children as a young father growing up? Yes. Did I pay for it? Yes. Yes, I did. So, I'm not throwing stones at all. I'm trying to tell you, walk in holiness. It's a safeguard. It's a safeguard. Being a young father, I learned you can't bring the world into your home and not get burnt. You can't do it. I did it and got burnt. My children suffered from it. My wife suffered from it. Not that everything was my fault, but being liberal. You bring the cursed thing into your home, you destroy your home. It's not the way to go. Come out from among them and be ye separate, said the Lord. And so, is it the holiness of hell? And so we have to learn to stand. Brotherly, we have to learn to guide our families into all righteousness and be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. I got convicted many a times, and guess what? I thank God for conviction. I thank God that I'm still living and have an opportunity to make things right. Now I can say with a pure heart that for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Choose you this day whom you shall serve. Be careful what the world feeds you. Got the nerve to call this movie an example of Christianity. Are you serious? Be careful what you feed yourself. Be careful. Teach your children the right way. And if you're getting mad at me, guess what? Go to hell by yourself. Because I ain't changing holiness for nobody. God's way is the right way. Come out from among the world and be ye separate, said the Lord. And he will receive us. Be not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by what? Yes, sir. By the renewing of your mind. Let's put God first. And let us each be responsible for each other in love and in righteousness. Because we are our brother's keeper. And you young folks, some things you might not understand, but think about it. You young people, whenever you get to yourself and you go against the teaching, what do? You dress up and act like rappers. Oh. You listen to a whole bunch of ungodly music. Let's think about what you do. Think about it. And you know it's worldly. And the only thing keeping you from doing all that is what you've been taught at church. You get caught up in all kinds of stuff. You know it's not right. But when you start thinking about the Lord, you pull away from that stuff. Which ought to show you that you know better. Leaning toward the side that keeps you doing the right thing in God's eyesight. You don't want to sit under a preacher that preaches you the way he thinks things ought to be. But you do want to respect one that teaches you the way the Word of God says you should be. The Bible says that we ought to live in holiness unto the Lord. Pure living, clean living, that which is right. Anything you do that causes you to go against the scriptures, you don't need to do it. And because children are young parents, well, let them enjoy the world. We're going to take them to hell. They need to learn to make decisions at an early age. They need to learn that sometimes they have to say no to the things they want. Because the things they want may not be edifying, may not be good. They have to learn to make those decisions and choose God for themselves. So let's strive together to be obedient and walk in the way of the Lord. And teach our homes. And remember, how safe is your house? How safe is your house? I apologize for nothing. Because God allows things to come forth to try your spirit. And if any of you here is not really for holiness, you're under the wrong preaching. And for that, I don't apologize. But I will not deliberately sit up there and send your family to hell. And I will not preach to you the word and tell you can have this world and Christ too, because you can't. You can't do it. You have to make a choice. Precious God, we thank you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. We appreciate you. Our full of virtue. Let the word of God go forth. Let it purge our hearts. Lord, we got no stones to throw. We need each other. We have all fall short in sin, fall short of the glory of God. We all have. And if any of us have lived long enough, we've all made some foolish choices. But we thank God that you give us an opportunity to do what's right. And we appreciate you. Chastise us with love. I feel a virtue. I feel a virtue. You said the spirit should not always strive with man. God, whatever you do, take not thy spirit away from me. I'd rather fall on the rock and be broken than let that rock fall on me and dash me into pieces. I've been many times church when preachers come across hard. Some got mad, but I used to enjoy it. I enjoyed straight preaching because it kept me straight. And it caused you to take a look at yourself, providing you be right. And sometimes I got angry, but I submitted to the word, and it made me a better person. Because let your will be done, and not mine. You don't want to bump heads with God, and he says enough is enough. And Samuel was praying for Saul, and God said, why do you keep praying for him, seeing that I have rejected him? You'll never want to get to that point. So humble yourself. Brethren, teach your family to humble themselves and walk in the way of the Lord. Because we get upset sometimes. We say, well, I'm finna leave God. I ain't got time to do with that. Suppose God turns around and says, he's about to leave you. And that he has no time for you. So don't play with the Holy Spirit. Let us accept that chastisement, church. Whatever, the Bible says that your affections, your mind, your entertainment, number one, should be placed on things above and not on the earth. Whatever you do earthly is by permission. Secondarily, use the word but don't abuse it, and be sure it doesn't cause you to go against God. I feel the virtue. You're one hand up on. God bless you. These are the last days. We want people to come into the church and be saved for real. We don't want nobody's blood on our hands because we're playing around. Come on, preachers. Stand with me in holiness as I stand with him. Let us teach our women and children to be strong in the Lord and Father's might and to walk in the way of holiness and obedience. Let us be real men of example. They got too many preachers that are getting caught up in scandals and lies and all types of money-making scandals. God sent some real men of God that will stand as one in the holiness of God. And we pray that you find some here. That no matter where they go, no matter what, they'll stand for holiness. Even against the ones they love the most, they'll put you first. In the mighty name of Jesus, church, say amen. Why don't you call? Yes, sir.
How to Jesus
Yes, sir.
is us right now.
You know,
Knows that what time of trying to be all the burden alone.
we never want to get tired of serving God. Get tired of doing something else. And won't get tired of serving God because he's the source of all evil.
Your